This presentation is to discuss personal graduation plans. The Louisville Independent School District has PGPs that we have our students to enter into their Skyward accounts. Thank you everybody for taking the time to watch our video today. At this point, we have presented to all three of our feeder middle schools, to our 8th graders at Lamar Middle School, Downing Middle School, and Briarhill Middle School. This presentation is going home, and parents, your students had filled out a paper version of this, and the counselors or their teachers are going to go into Skyward with your students next week to input their personal graduation plans into Skyward. We know that as 13 and 14-year-olds, they don't necessarily know what they want to do for graduation or exactly what classes they need to take. So I want to make it very clear that this is strictly a rough draft that we went through with them. Also, the courses that are put into the system, it's not actually course selection. We aren't choosing courses. This is just so that students will go into high school having an idea of what the end might look like. So our two counselors, we have Amanda Gallant, who's counselor for students whose last names are A through K, and I am Kim Klingon. I'm lead counselor for students with the last names of L through Z. This is our direct phone numbers and our email addresses. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and we are more than happy to help you. So our agenda for this presentation, we are going to give an introduction to high school. We will talk about what exactly is a personal graduation plan. And finally, we will walk you through actually creating the rough draft of the PGP. So first we'll start with the introduction to high school. We need to have a change, a shift in terminology with our students. Usually, up to this point, students are used to the term classes. So like right now, a student will come to school and on the first day in August, and they will take 8 classes in a school day, and they will have the exact same 8 classes at the very end of that school year. And they take 8 classes. What we need to shift in term is for students to start using the term credit. And a credit is earned whenever a student completes a course of study. So for instance, if a student is in algebra, for high school credits, they'll make it through the whole year, and then as long as the student passes, then they will earn credit for algebra. Also, another course that our students will take for high school credit would be art. So if a student takes art in 8th grade, so that's the Art 1 HS for high school credits, then once it's completed and the grade is earned, then they will earn 1 credit for art. In order to earn a credit, a student must have a grade of 70 or higher and be present in class for 90% of the time, and that's known as seat time. 70% is going to be passing. In order to graduate, students need to earn 26 credits. So they'll have 4 English credits, 4 math credits, 4 science credits, and 3 social studies credits. A lot of students will take 4 based on the multidisciplinary endorsement or one of their other endorsements, but in order to graduate, students have to have 3 social studies credits. Also need to have 2 LOTE credits. LOTE stands for language other than English. 1 physical education credit, 1 fine art credit, and 7 credits of electives. We have an accelerated block schedule at high school. So students take 8 classes a year. Again, the 8 class in middle school, what students are used to is they'll take 8 classes on the first day of school. They'll be in those classes every day for the whole school year and take the same 8 classes on the last day of school. In high school, we have 8 classes also, but students will take 4 classes in the fall, 2 core classes and 2 electives, and then 4 classes in the spring, 2 core classes and 2 electives. So, for example, a student selects English 1, Algebra 1, Biology, World Geography for core classes, and then for electives, select Spanish 1, Spanish 2, Lifetime Activities or PE, and Tech Theater or another fine art. And those are the classes that a student will select. And those classes are put into the system, and this is a sample version of how that particular student's schedule would come out. So in the fall, we have 2 cores with that English and algebra, and in the spring, 2 cores with biology and world geography, and then the electives were split: Spanish 1 in the fall, Spanish 2 in the spring, lifetime activities in the fall, and tech theater in the spring. We know that core classes are very challenging, so Mrs. Gallant and I, the counselors, we work very hard to try to make sure that student schedules are balanced with 2 cores in the fall and 2 in the spring. There are a couple of situations where that's not a possibility, but that's few and far between. For the most part, we try to get those cores that are balanced. And now we need to talk about some different levels of classes. And students in our feeder middle schools are used to these different levels and to knowing that students take different levels of courses. Most core classes have different level options. So there are on-level courses, and this is a standard class. Then we have on a little bit higher rigor with honors classes, and these classes add more rigor, a little bit more depth and complexity to just that regular on-level class. AP stands for Advanced Placement, and this is a college level class that's taken at high school. Students that earn good grades in honors or AP classes have a boost in the GPA. We will have freshman year a more in-depth review to what GPA is and how it works. Just know that if you are wanting to know the difference between that honors class and that on-level class and what it does with the GPA, a student, if they earn 100 in on-level English 1 and their friend earns 100 in honors English 1, the 100 goes on the transcript, but the student who took the grade in the honors class, theirs is weighted more. Their 100 is weighted more. So we encourage our students to challenge themselves to take rigorous courses, and we also want them to be successful in their classes. So there's a fine line and balance. So we want students to take advanced courses and challenge themselves and also be successful in them. And again, sophomore year, we will have a lunch and learn for parents where we'll talk, and with students, we'll talk with students a little bit more about GPA and what GPA is and the different types of GPA and what that means. But for now, for this purpose, know that honors classes give a little bit of challenge, and AP classes are those college level courses. So what exactly is a PGP? So a personal graduation plan is an outline of courses that students want to take in high school. It's a document that can change at any time, and it is a tool that will ensure that students are taking the required courses for graduation. A personal graduation plan is not course registration, and it is also not set in stone. We want to make sure that you have an idea of the core classes and the graduation requirements, and there are going to be some extra spots in there, so it's okay if every spot isn't filled in a personal graduation plan. So here's some PGP examples. This student has some credits that were earned prior to 9th grade, and that student had earned Art 1. And then, as you can see, this PGP just has the core and the elective requirements in there. Now, doing some math, you can see that students have to have 26 credits to graduate, but with 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, there's an opportunity to earn definitely more than the 26 credits for graduation. So just know that there is extra room on top of just the mandatory required courses. Here's another example of a PGP. This was a student who had taken Algebra 1 and Spanish 1 prior to 9th grade, and then we have all of the core classes and mandatory electives, the required electives listed in this plan also. So now we're going to walk through actually creating the PGP. There is the piece of paper that our students filled out. We will put a link to that in the comment section of the YouTube recording so that you can access this and print it out and make a copy and fill it out or do whatever you need to do with that so that you can fill it out and practice. So on the PGP, we have students write their name and graduation year. Right now, our current 8th graders are the class of 2030. The counselors took the students, the middle school counselors took students through choosing an endorsement just a couple of weeks ago. So if our students remember that, then we're asking you to write it on the top. If not, then that's fine, because in Skyward, where the PGP is filled out, that information will be listed. And then we had students in the box that's titled Credits Earned Prior to 9th Grade to fill out all of the high school credit classes that the students are currently taking. So that could be Algebra 1, Art 1 for high school credit, Spanish 1, Spanish 2, Principles of Human Services, Intro to Culinary Arts. There's a STEM 2 and a STEM 3 in some of our feeder schools, which comes up to robotics or principles of engineering. If you took one of those classes, then fill that in the credits prior to 9th grade box. And then after that, take a second and cross off the corresponding requirements in the required courses box up at the top of the page. And let me show you what that looks like here. So Harry Potter took art for high school credit, so he marked off 1 credit of fine art right here. Art 1 does count as fine art. One of the questions that we're asked fairly regularly is, well, I took culinary arts. Does that count as an art credit? And I'm sorry, but the answer is no. Culinary art will count as an elective. The electives, there are 7 credits of electives that are required for graduation, and it would count as those, but there's not a space to mark that off up here. And then we have Spider-Man. Spidey took Algebra 1 and Spanish 1. So Algebra 1 is marked off up here under Math. And then Spanish, LOTE, is marked off over here on the side. Remember, LOTE stands for Language Other Than English. So anytime you need to pause the video to fill out the document or go back and take a look at it, please feel free to do that. Okay, now what we're going to do is go through and take a look at each of the required courses and each of the core areas, and then we will go through and do the electives. Now I'm going to go forward here just a second, and we asked our students when you were filling out the forms to put the English class under the first box under fall. Now, when we actually do scheduling, we don't know if the classes are going to fall in the fall. We don't know if they're going to go in the spring. For this document, we are just filling it out so that we can see how it might fall, how the classes might end up. English might be in the spring for your freshman year and might be in the fall sophomore year. We don't know. This is just so that you can see what it would potentially look like. So remember, English for this purpose will go under the first box in the fall. So students need to have 4 English credits in order to graduate. And this is the easy one because it's 4 years, 4 English classes. So we are asking students to fill out 1 English class for each year and then cross off each of the choices in the required courses box up at the top of the plan. So we have English 1, freshman year, the choices are English 1, Honors English 1, and GT English 1. GT English 1 is also an honors class, so they have the same weight as the honors class, GPA weight. The only difference is that students who are in the GT English 1 have gone through the testing and they receive GT services through our district. If a student is in Honors English 1, then they could be in there with students who receive GT services, and they could be in there with students who do not. So if your student receives GT services, then that is a possibility and it's a choice option. Sophomore year, our choices are English 2 or Honors English 2. Junior year, we have English 3 and English 3 AP. In senior year, we have English 4 and English 4 AP. Remember, AP stands for Advanced Placement. Notice there is no Honors English 3 or Honors English 4. After sophomore year, it's AP. Another thing that I wanted to note is that we do offer dual credit classes. Dual credit classes are advanced classes. We don't know for sure which courses are going to be offered for dual credit each year, and dual credit registration happens after our course registration. So just for planning purposes, we're asking students to put AP. And then down at the bottom, you can note that at the bottom of the sheet, and I'll go to the next sheet so you can see where to do that. I would write down, would like to take dual credit classes, so that later on you could go in and take a look at doing that whenever you're filling out the document. But AP is advanced placement, and in general, we will have a dual credit that's offered junior year, and sometimes we have one that's senior year, but for sure we'll have one. More than likely, we will have an English class that is a dual credit college professor taught class that's during junior year. So down here under notes is where I would make a note that your student is interested in taking dual credit classes. So go on ahead, if you haven't done that, and note one English class in each year, and then mark it off up at the top. Next is social studies. For social studies, we're going to list these on the right-hand side under the spring. Again, same thing. We don't know if they'll fall in the spring. We don't know if they'll fall in the fall, but go on ahead and designate it for the spring term. Students need to have 3 social studies credits in order to graduate, but for now we're going to go in and fill out 4 classes. We have some flexibility in freshman year with world geography and world history, so if your student has a program that they want to take and don't have the room, then we have flexibility in one year or the other. Junior year, U.S. history is a requirement, and government and personal financial literacy is an option. But these are the 2 that we have some flexibility with. Options for freshman year are world geography, honors world geography, advanced placement human geography, and world history. World history is taught over on the main campus. Most of our students who sign up for world history generally don't want to take that. They'll change it before school even gets out after registration. But it is a class that is available to 9th graders. So freshman year, again, World Geo, Honors World Geo, AP Human Geo, and World History. Sophomore year, the options are World History and AP World History. Junior year, we have U.S. History and AP U.S. History. In senior year, we have Government and Personal and Financial Literacy. Each of those are 9-week classes that make up for the full credit. And there's also an option for AP Government and Personal and Financial Literacy. Again, dual credit is available sophomore, junior, and senior year for courses. I would designate at the bottom that you're interested in doing dual credit for these courses, but choose AP so that you have advanced placement for these particular years. So I will come back to this screen again, but I wanted to point out that this is what this looks like when you're filling it out for that senior year. So government and personal and financial literacy, they go on the same line. They take up one spot. One is 9 weeks and the other is 9 weeks to make the full 18 weeks. Again, freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, senior year. These are our options. So now math. Math is where it starts to get a little bit tricky. And we're going to fill out the math class in the fall underneath of this English that's here. So let me go backwards here. So math is tricky because some students are already in algebra right now as 8th graders. Some of our 8th graders are taking geometry this spring, so they're going to be even further along in their math journey. So you're going to plan on filling out one math class for each year. 4 classes is the minimum for that, and then cross them off up in the required courses box at the top of the plan. So here are options for math. We have algebra or honors algebra for the first year. Second year, we have geometry, honors geometry, or GT geometry. Okay, so if your student is currently in 8th grade math, then in 9th grade, the class will be algebra. If your current student is currently in algebra, then geometry, a version of geometry, will be the class that they take freshman year. If your student is in geometry in the spring of 8th grade, then Algebra 2 will be the class that your student takes in 9th grade, and then keep on going forward after there. So first year of math is going to be algebra or honors algebra. Second year is going to be geometry, honors geometry, or GT geometry, gifted and talented geometry. Third year is going to be Algebra 2, Honors Algebra 2, or Math Models. Math Models is a class for students who could stand to go back and do a review for algebra and a review for geometry before going on to do that 4th Algebra 2. Most of our students will go Algebra, Geometry, Algebra 2, or an honors version of that. Fourth year is going to be Algebra 2 if the students took Math Models. Statistics, on-level pre-cal, or AP pre-cal. And finally, for the 5th year, we have an AP Calculus, and there's AP Calculus A, B, and BC, and then we have an AP Statistics class. So take a moment and fill out the document and have one math class per year. One of the questions that we have regarding math is, can I double up in my math classes? And the answer to that is, starting sophomore year, yes, you can. Freshman year, we don't have the seats on main campus to be able to have students take multiple core classes. So sophomore year is when students will generally do that. So here's how it works. A student will take algebra first. Could be 8th grade, could be 9th grade. And then the student will take geometry as a standalone class. And then this works fantastic. The student will take Honors Algebra 2 in the fall, AP Pre-Cal in the spring, 1 year, and then the next year we'll take AP Calculus AB in the fall and then BC in the spring. It works out great. There's no gap in math, and the timing works out perfectly. So if your student is a superstar in math, then this would be the direction that I would go. But freshman year, we can't double up on math classes. Sophomore, junior, and senior year, you are welcome to do that. All right, so this is what this will look like whenever it's filled out. So we have Harry Potter here has marked off his math classes, and he has on-level Algebra 1, Geometry, Math Models, and Algebra 2. And Spidey, his math are marked out, and he took algebra in middle school. So he started out with Honors Geometry, Honors Algebra 2, AP Pre-Cal, and then AP Stats. Okay, so now we have our science credits. Students need to have 4 science credits in order to graduate, and as we put sciences in, let me take a moment to pre-teach here. We are going to put sciences in the spring underneath the social studies classes. The exception to that is that some of our science classes are a year-long commitment. So if we look over here with Spider-Man, whenever we go back to the last slide and I say that the science classes take a year long, this is what it will look like on the form. So AP Biology is a year-long commitment. It will take the place of 1 core in the fall and 1 of the electives. This is where it shows that you will have a student who takes an AP Science class will have 1 semester of 3 cores, and there's no way around it. It just ends up falling that way because your student is an advanced science person. So here are our options for these science classes. Freshman year, every student will take biology. The options are biology, honors biology, or AP Biology. Again, that asterisk on there indicates that that class is a year-long class. A student who is successful in AP Biology is one that is taking honors math in 8th grade and honors science in 8th grade. If your student is currently in on-level science, wait and do AP Biology later. This would give some pre-learning in that biology and some background knowledge, and then take it later. Students can take AP Biology later. They don't have to do it freshman year. Bio and honors bio are freshman level classes, but AP bio can be taken in a year. But for freshmen, all freshmen have to take some version of biology. Sophomore year, the options are chemistry, honors chemistry, AP chemistry, or IPC. IPC is integrated chemistry and physics, and it is a preliminary class it gives an intro to both chemistry and physics. In general, it's for a student who math may be a little more difficult, science may be a little more difficult, and it just gives an intro to both of them, so a student can take the one that they need to have the next year, either chemistry or physics, based on how they feel that they did and stronger in math and science. So junior year, the options are physics, honors physics, AP physics, or chemistry if a student took IPC sophomore year. And then senior year, we have lots and lots and lots of options that students can take. So first, I have the on-level courses. We have anatomy and physiology, which is blood, bones, and systems. Aquatic science, which is like a marine studies class. So it'll have freshwater, saltwater, animals, plants, and environments. We have astronomy, which is the study of the sun, the moon, the stars, and the planets. Environmental science, which is the study of the environment, greenhouse effect, oxygen, and things. We have food science, which is a chemistry-based class that studies, food. We have AP Environmental Science, which is an 18-week class. It's a 1-credit class. It is our only AP Science class that doesn't go for the whole year. We also have, of course, if a student hadn't taken it previously, AP Bio, AP Chemistry, and AP Physics. So many options senior year to pick one of those, and they all sound like so much fun. Especially that food science. That would have been my jam for sure. So take a moment and fill out one class for each year, biology, IPC chemistry or physics, and then 2 additional science classes. And again, this is what it would look like. Notice the AP science classes go all year. And just because you start off with AP doesn't mean it has to stay AP, by the way. So if your student takes AP biology freshman year and decides they wanted to do honors chemistry, just like good old Spidey here, you are more than welcome to do that. All right. Finally, what we're going to do is fill in required electives. Students need to have 2 LOTE credits, that's language other than English, 1 PE credit, and 1 fine art credit. So students, this isn't 1 credit every year, this is 1 credit total. So 1 space on each of the on the form. So and not 1 each year, just 1 time, period. So for language other than English, our options are Spanish 1 and 2. Spanish 1 would go in the fall, Spanish 2 in the spring. ASL 1 and 2. ASL stands for American Sign Language 1 and 2. We also have computer science 1 and 2. The prerequisite for computer science is algebra 1. So if you are a student who's already in algebra 1 and you would like to do computer science as your language other than English, then you're welcome to do that freshman year for computer science 1 and 2. Otherwise, wait and put it sophomore, junior, senior. For PE, students can do just regular old PE. We also have outdoor education, which is the same as that middle school outdoor trails. And the answer is if you took outdoor trails in middle school, it does not count as high school credit. You would retake it again in high school. We also have athletics. Athletics are a year-long commitment. Drill team, that's the Marquettes. So a student who does Marquettes would earn PE credit. And AFJ ROTC, that's the Air Force Junior Reserve Officer Training Cadets. AFJ ROTC earns PE credit. For fine art, there's Art 1. Band is a year-long commitment, but if a student does band for 2 years, then they'll earn 1 PE credit on top of the 4 fine art credits. Orchestra is a year-long commitment. Choir, theater, tech theater, and dance students can take stand alone one time and earn that fine art credit without being heavy into a program. So take a moment and fill out your document with your required electives and then mark them off at the top. So for a couple examples, we have Harry Potter. Harry Potter did football freshman year, was planning on doing football, so he has that in there for the whole year, and that takes the place of his PE requirement. Freshman year, he's also planning on doing Spanish 1 and Spanish 2, so we have LOT 1 and LOT 2 marked off. And he took his art in middle school, so he was done, and he has all of these extra spots for electives towards endorsement or just plain electives. Spidey over here, he took Spanish 1, so sophomore year he took Spanish 2. And then he has outdoor trails in Art 1 that he's doing in sophomore year. So again, you don't have to do them freshman year, but I don't know that I would wait until senior year to do PE. Just get it done. Get that out of the way. All of the remaining spots are classes that can be filled with electives. So now you can take a moment and fill out the year-long programs that you know you're going to take every year, like your athletics class, your band class, your AFJ-ROTC, your drill team, anything that you'd like to do. We will learn more about additional electives whenever we come to do registration in January. Now, we don't have a list of every elective that you will have available as an offer up through the 4 years of high school. We just don't have that. And every year they change. So it's okay to have holes in here because you don't know what electives that you'd like to do. This document is just to make sure that you have a plan that's started and rolling. Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to point out is like the Career Center class, the Tech East and Tech West programs. So many of our students want to do those tech programs. The tech classes are double blocked. So if you want to know where those are going to fit, you'll find a spot like over here. Harry Potter in the spring of 10th grade has 2 spots available here. So if Harry Potter wanted to do Principles of Health Science and Medical Terminology, they're going to fit right here. And then the next class that goes along with that is the Clinical and Theory, so that would fit in right here. And then a practicum for 2 spots would go right here. So any of the Tech Center classes, the Tech East and Tech West, you would look for 2 spots that are together. If you're, say, over here and it's like, well, I don't have 2 spots that are together here senior year. Well, government and personal and financial literacy can move, and there you go. You've got your 2 spots together right there. So know that there is some flexibility to move a couple of things around to be able to get these programs to fit that you would like to have fit. Cosmetology, many of our ladies and gentlemen would both like to do cosmetology. Know that cosmetology takes all electives for 2 years. So in 11th grade and 12th grade, a student who wants to do cosmetology, it takes both of those spots. If you would like to know which ones are more specifics about the classes, the tech centers will be at our freshman fair, which that information will be going out soon. So please come to the freshman fair and ask the tech center counselors about their programs, and the teachers. Some of the teachers from the programs will be there too, and get more information. And that's another thing, is that we will have at the freshman fair, we will have programs from the main campus over on our campus talking about not just freshman classes, but their programs that they have available. So like the business department will be there to talk about entrepreneurship and principles of business and all of their programs of study that they have that's available, and principles of education, and AVID will be there. So as you have holes, that's the perfect time to start to fill those in and to take a look at the things that you'd like to do. Is to come up to the freshman fair on our date. I believe it's on January 20th. No, I don't believe it's on January 20th this year. I know it's on January 20th from 6 to 8. So if you have any questions, please reach out to us. Again, it's Amanda Gallant, counselor for students A through K, and me, Kim Klingon, counselor for students L through Z. Also, your middle school counselors at Lamar, Downing, and Briarhill are very knowledgeable on this as well. So if you have any questions, reach out to them, and if they don't know the answer, they'll reach out to us, and together we are Marcus Feeders, and we are one, and we look forward to working with you. So thank you for your time.